Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our YouTube live stream, Trending Thursday here on YouTube. My name is Glenn E. Tompkins Jr. E stands for Edward, in case you care. If you don't care, then unhear it. There you go. My name is Glenn E. Tompkins Jr. Glad to be here, senior instructor. If you can hear me, can you please type VV Nation? You got me all jacked up because I don't see my chat. And by the way, Joey in the background got me all confused. He's my producer. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey. It's easy to do.
It's easy to confuse, Glenn. It doesn't take much. We do have a special guest that I'm going to introduce to you today in a minute. Very excited about our guest. If there's anybody out there who's very interested in cryptocurrency, I'm going to say that we have a super duper guest that's going to help you in regards to better understanding cryptocurrency. So bring your crypto questions to the table. I believe Jason is going to be able to do a great job on answering those questions for you. So, and me, I'm just a guy. I'm the guy that's here to facilitate all of the happenings. Yeah, the happenings, the happenations. All right, so a couple of things that I want to get put to the forefront before we get started. We do have a summit, a financial freedom summit coming up next week, April 16th and 17th, that we want to invite you to. It is free. It's a free online summit. You go to www.vectorvest.com/summit. You do that, and Joey's going to bring up what the website looks like. The website makes it real easy for you to click a button to register right now for free. There it is. All right, click on that button that says register for free right there, and you will be registered for it. It is free. It is online, and if you want to learn more, especially if you're new to the live stream, you want to learn more about what VectorVest does, this is a great place to do so. We're going to have speakers from all across the world here for those 2 days. All right, so that's something that I want to put out there first and foremost. Secondly, if you're new to the webcast or to the live stream, hit the subscribe button. All right, hit the subscribe button. Comment in the comments here. You see everybody's comments are here. Talk to everybody. Hey, Glenn, you look like a sexy man. Wow. I just turned red. You can't see me turn red, so that's the only way you can see me blush. Look at my hand. That's the only way you can see me blush. Wow, but ooh, I feel sexy now. Ooh. All right, anyway. Anyway, again, thank you all for being here. We're going to get hot and heavy into it. We talk about the stocks that are making the news, and we always start off with a market overview. What's going on in the market? Because the market's direction affects 80% of the stocks in the market. All right. So we're going to get right into what's going on from that perspective as we look at the market news. Actually, let's do it this way. Let me bring up my first story on the market news. This is it. All right. The things that are going on in the background. Workers slowly pull away from jobless benefits as economy picks up. You know what that means? That means people are trying to get off of unemployment because there's a lot of jobs out there, which is a good thing. The Fed's job is to make sure that work is working and that interest rates are low and that inflation rates are low. And workers slowly pull away from jobless benefits is a good sign that people are starting to get back into work. And I love that story in and of itself. Now, most recently, too, Fed minutes show expectations for stronger economic recovery. You want to know what's making the market move higher for the most part. A lot of it is what you're hearing here as far as work. The Fed still says that inflation is not a problem. I don't know how much I agree or disagree with that. I know how much I do disagree with that. If the market is bolstering higher, prices go up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If prices go up, inflation gets higher. How do I know inflation gets higher? When I go to put gas into my 40-gallon tank Ford Expedition, I'm paying a lot more money for gas. So I know that that's the case. And then when my wife goes shopping for food and she shows me the bill is high. Now, our inflation number doesn't actually take those two things into effect, but those are the things that affect us as individuals in the workforce. And the last but not least, small business owners feel the weight of personal debt guarantees. That's huge because small businesses is what moves our economy. No matter what you say, it's the small businesses that feed into the bigger businesses that feed into the overall economy, but it all starts from small business. All right, so those are my 3 stories that I have on what's going on with the market as a whole. I'm going to get into the software. For you, you're going to look at that screen. And this is the homepage of the VectorVest software. For many of you who are brand new, who do not have access to the VectorVest software, that's fine. Because later on today, we're going to give you an amazing opportunity to take advantage of the VectorVest software for 30 days. I can see here all of the major indices are up today: the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, and our VectorVest composite. A nice up day in the market. That's a beautiful thing. For those of you who are VectorVest subscribers, looks like we've just getting a confirmed up today. That will not stay confirmed until the close of business today. I am looking at real-time data, so I can see intraday that we have a confirmed up call. A lot of green popping up into the color guard, so the market is getting more of a bullish feel. Let's do one other thing. I'm going to go to our watch list. And these are the stocks that we're going to look at today. But within our watch list, these are the stocks that we're going to look at today. Within my watch list, I always look at 2 indicators for us to take a track or keep a track of the market. For those people who are VectorVest subscribers, we have the VVC or VectorVest composite. And for those of you who are not subscribers to the software, I've got another way of tracking the market, and that's the S&P 500 or the spiders. Let's go take a look at their graphs. So we've got our stories behind what's making the market move. There is the VectorVest composite. Bottom left, top right, over the last 3 months, a little bit of a sideways move or big channel. The 3 and the 8 from a more aggressive way of timing the market. They are bullish. Little over the last 4 days, looks like we're in a little bit of a sideways move. This is my level of resistance sitting at 69.35 on the VectorVest composite. In order for us to still say the market has legs to the upside, I need to see us break above that level. Now I'm going to bring on the S&P 500. It looks a little different, right? It looks a lot more bullish than that VectorVest composite. How is that? Well, the S&P 500 tracks 500 stocks, whereas the market timing graph that we were looking at for the VVC tracks the move of over 8,600 stocks. We use that VVC as a better indicator of the broad market movement. This is, though, the movement of the S&P 500, and it's definitely bullish, hitting a new all-time high. All right, and Kathy is right. It's 8,500, actually 8,600 versus 500. That's why you see such a big difference in the graphs. All right, so those are my stories on the market. Those are my graphs on what's going on in the market. Does anybody have any questions about what's going on in the market as a whole? While you're doing that, I'm going to drink some of my smart water. Helps me to stay smart.
A lot more than that. They make a bigger bottle.
Joey is a hater.
They make a bigger jug.
They don't need to make a bigger jug of it. Joey's a hater. I bought yesterday. So as we go on today, there is a Margaret puts in AVA as a crypto stock. Going to hold that for Jason if he can give you some information on that. I thought bro was Judge Mathis for a second. Judge Mathis, what you doing in my court of stocks right now? What you talking about? All right, anyway, so that's that's my Judge Joe Mathis impersonation. All right, if there's no questions, I do not look like Paul Pierce. Don't even C-Rez, I will put you in timeout. I don't even know you, but I'm finna put you in timeout saying I look like Paul Pierce because I don't look like Paul Pierce. I wanted to get the stories of the market out of the way first because I think that's important to see what's going on with the market. I'm getting ready to bring in our guest today. So I'm going to take us back. Well, Joey will bring us in where we need to be. My guest today is a new member to the VectorVest stream team. His name is Jason Jones. He's waving at you guys. He's a cool guy. I like him. Whether I liked him or not was irrelevant, but I like him. He brings a certain expertise to the team as far as streaming. He's been successful with his own streaming for other things. And VV Nation, type VV Nation in here to welcome one of our newest members to the VectorVest stream team. Type VV Nation in the room. And the reason why he's here today is he holds a lot of knowledge on cryptocurrencies, and knowing that it's such a hot space right now, this is a time where many of you can get your crypto questions answered, and he's going to give you a lot of insight on what's going on in the crypto space. And all of this will do is, if nothing else, give you an education and more information on what's going on with these things to help you to make a better decision on what you do. So with those cryptocurrencies. So Jason, if you can see all those VV Nations popping up, VV Nation is definitely welcoming you aboard. And I want to say thank you so much for being a part of my live stream today. And I look forward to what you have to bring to the table. So
absolutely, not a problem. And thank you, chat, for the warm welcome. I wouldn't say I have that much knowledge of crypto, but I will do my best. I didn't drink any smart water before this, so we're working on what we got. But I did see some people talking about the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. I think that is going to be huge. Me and Glenn, we've already talked about that. Glenn absolutely knows from day one talking about crypto that I am a big fan of XRP, and I think it's going to be really big. But Glenn, we were going to talk about NFTs today, the crypto collection craze.
absolutely.
That is kind of sweeping over a lot of stuff. And it kind of came out of nowhere. One thing I thought was kind of funny is I saw somebody the other day ask me, is this the Beanie Babies of crypto? And
That's
I
an
thought
interesting analogy. I like that.
Right. Because I mean, Beanie Babies just exploded when they first came out, right? And now you have people that don't even necessarily know what Beanie Babies are. We are, because we were around for that time. But for those of you in chat and tuning in that don't know what NFTs are, they are non-fungible tokens. And for those of you who don't know what fungible is, because honestly, I had to look that up the first time I heard that word. I thought it had something to do with mushrooms that I put on my salad. Was a little weird. I was like, I don't want a token like that. But fungibility is being able to replace one thing with something that's identical. And with non-fungible tokens, it is a digital collectible piece that is stored on the blockchain. So it is 100% unique, and it is interesting. Now, I will start off saying that anything having to do with cryptocurrency, anything blockchain, very, very highly speculative. And you'll see articles that talk about how these NFTs are being sold for, millions of dollars. People making tons and tons of money off of NFTs. And I do think that it's kind of interesting that NFTs are kind of taking over the place of physical collectibles. Now, it's going to be hard, to really wrap a lot of people's minds around that, right? Because when you think collectibles, you think, I have this thing, it's in my house, it's behind like 7 planes of glass, it's the Frank Thomas rookie baseball card that was hand signed by him, and has a tangible value. But as we move more towards a digital society, digital currency, NFTs are very interesting in that it does allow for a new type of collectible.
Does this, in essence, just separate old school from new school from a collectible standpoint?
I do think so. Well, I mean, I think that, you are never going to get away from old school collectibles,
I
because I know
agree.
personally, I like having something physical, but at the same time, for collectors, and I think that NFTs really hit that type of person that is a collector of unique things, in that NFTs are a digital asset. It's actually built on the Ethereum blockchain, which, for those of you who do know what cryptocurrency is, Ethereum has a token very similar to Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, some of the other ones. However, the NFT is a token with extra data added to it that has that unique signifier that says, this sports card NFT that I got, this is a unique identifier. And it's kind of like how, let's say you bought a limited run of a specific sports card, or like a specific sports jersey, and you got that piece of paper that was the letter of authenticity that
Yeah.
said, hey, you bought number 175 out of 500. It's pretty much the same deal
On the
in that
NFT
on the
side.
NFT. Right. So when it looks it up, the blockchain for that token that is associated with that NFT will say, this is this one. And the way blockchain works is that would be a unique signifier. And so once you get it, you can trade that whenever you want. So you have the rights to that. Now, you don't have the copyrights, and I've seen a lot of people confused about that, because they think that once they have like the NFT of said piece of artwork or said piece of picture, that they own the copyrights. It's the same thing as owning a baseball card, where you own that baseball card. You can sell it, trade it, do whatever you want with it, leave it in your attic for 70 years. That's really up to you, but you don't own the copyright to that baseball card.
So I thought that there was a sense of perpetuity behind it, because now this is why I'm glad I have you here. I heard through the grapevine, I heard that once you had the NFT, if it got sold or resold, that the original person who owned it got some spiff off of that. Is that not the case?
So in some cases that is the case. It depends on how the NFT is minted. Sometimes you get full control over it. Sometimes there is that residual yield almost that goes back to the original NFT holder. There are quite a few different ways at the moment to mint and put NFTs out, in case that's something that you really want to get into. A lot of digital creators, artists, musicians are really getting into this space, mostly because it's a new emerging speculative space. People are just buying up NFTs, just like they bought up. We'll go back to Beanie Babies, right? So when it first came out, the Beanie Baby craze, everybody was buying it. Didn't matter how much money it was. People were picking it up just in case.
So
Just in case it, went through the roof.
I'm going to take that and I'm going to segue into the first story for NFTs, since you talked about art.
Yep.
Here's one, and I'll read the headline. Phillips offers NFT that creates new works of art every 28 days. What say you about this? I've always wanted to say that. What say you about this?
What say you of this? So, I mean, like I said, I think that a lot of people are moving into this space as fast as possible, because if you think about it, if you're selling a, NFT that creates a new work of art every 28 days, I guess it depends on how it is creating that art, right? You are creating yourself another stream of revenue. Now, do I think that everybody and their mom getting into the space is going to potentially oversaturate it. I do a little bit,
Okay.
but I think that more people getting into this space allows for a lot more creativity and a lot more discovery into what artists are going to do. Now, I think that really early on, you're going to see a very wide range of prices for specific NFTs. But I think that as more people come into the space and really flesh it out, you'll see it kind of settle into the middle. So, I mean, I'm happy to see more people move into anything digital. And, as a collector myself, I like collecting unique things. So,
All right. So you segued me again. Talking about collecting things, how about this story? Tom Brady is launching an NFT company. I think it's called, and it's on Ethereum, called Autograph. NFT platform called Autograph. So I like just the way you ended that segment, and we're segueing into the next story. What say you about what Tom Brady's doing?
So I did read this earlier with the autograph thing. Now, here's one of the kind of interesting things, and I'll play the other side of the NFT argument in that, if I can just buy an autograph, then what value does that specifically hold? Because unless it's something very unique, right? Unless it is like a piece of art, a piece of digital creation that, a song, something that somebody put out there, why is, Tom Brady's autograph? I mean, he signs his name all the time,
Right.
So on the flip side of NFTs, let's say it's, just a picture of Tom Brady's autograph, right? I can just go Google search Tom Brady's autograph and just right click and save that picture. And now I have a picture of Tom Brady's autograph.
But how valuable is that?
Right. Well, no, for sure. And that's one of the things is if you're a collector, then I see NFTs being a big thing to the collector space. But and I also think that NFTs kind of came about as a lot of people aren't necessarily collecting physical things that much anymore, right? A lot of people maybe don't have room. It's hard to get physical things. You run out of space. I have a hard time. I need to buy a bigger house for all the stuff that I collect, right? So moving into digital is very, very interesting. And I think that, I don't know. I will have to see how the autograph thing comes out because I mean, I guess for me personally, I'm not going to just buy somebody's autograph. Like that doesn't really hold a lot of collection value to me. Now, if it's his autographed on
on a jersey
on
or
a jersey, right? His autograph on a collectible piece of memorabilia. Now that adds something a little bit more to it. But if it's just a picture of Tom Brady, sitting at the breakfast table and then he signs it and then sends it to you, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the value on that.
Do you think that what he's doing right here is a little bit of a fad to jump on board the train of NFTs, or do you think other companies are going to follow in his footsteps and do the same thing? And if that's the case, you just made a case of how maybe not as valuable as the actual collectible.
Right. No, I do think that a lot of people jumping on the NFT bandwagon right now, it is a fad. They're seeing a lot of money-making potential in the space because it is new and speculative. I'll hearken I've always wanted to say that too. Harken back to, the Beanie Babies fad, right? Or there's been other fads too, Funko Pops. There's something that pops up every so often, and it just comes on like wildfire. Everybody buys into it. Early adopters make a bunch of money,
Right.
and then when you're late to the game, then it's kind of plateaued out, and then it just kind of sails off into,
And you're the guys holding the bag.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So before I get in my next story, which is also about collectibles, question came up of maybe down the line, do you foresee that there might be cases with fraud with NFTs? Now, I know I'm asking you to speculate here, but based upon what we just talked about, could you foresee some cases of fraud, people jacking
Absolutely.
other
There
people?
already have been cases of that, as a matter of fact. And there are a handful that I've seen personally of copyright infringement lawsuits when it comes to NFTs, because once you sell that, I mean, you get the cryptocurrency, right? And that can't just be refunded. That's one of the big problems with cryptocurrency, is that once it leaves your wallet, because you are paying for these, with cryptocurrency, and once that leaves your possession, it's a lot harder to track that down, get a refund if it turns out that it is a fraud piece. And so there definitely is an issue with potential fraud on some of those, people just jacking pictures from the internet and then just going, bam, done. I'm just going to print an NFT, sell it for $20, and then it is what it is, right?
Interesting. All right, I'm going to go into my next story, which is Tops to go public through SPAC deal. Couple of things running here. SPAC, which is a special purpose acquisition company, which takes a company IPO a lot faster than a company going IPO, because there's a consortium of, there's a group of people already looking to buy a company. You become the company they want to buy, and they take you to IPO quickly. But Tops to go public through a SPAC deal as baseball card company ventures into NFTs. What do you say about this? This pretty much really piggybacks off the Tom Brady thing, yes?
Right. Yeah, I think that, especially with, like I mentioned, I think that sports memorabilia collectors are some of the most aggressive collectors in the world, short of like some comic book collectors, in that sports memorabilia and sports collectors will buy and hold just about anything that has to do with the team or the person that they are very interested in. So Topps jumping into this, and I do believe Topps is the first one to kind of venture into the NFTs out of the sports card companies, right? I think there's a couple of them, but being the first to the table, you kind of have to, especially in this space. The fast movers are the ones that get the lion's share of the money, and I do think that Topps is positioning themselves in a very, very solid spot to capitalize on this.
All right, now, Joey, put just me and him back on for a second. Those were my stories, but I've picked up some questions in the chat that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Give me your take, if you can, on a quick take on it. Gold NFTs. Any correlation there? Any NFT taking over gold? Do you have any do you have anything to put into that? It was just a statement about gold and NFTs. Is there anything to discuss there, or are they just two separate entities?
No, I think that they're two separate things, and I think that gold will always be Gold will always be gold. I've seen people talk about how Bitcoin is digital gold, right? You'll hear that thrown around a lot when it comes to Bitcoin in terms of, a store of value, right? I don't think anything will ever fully overtake gold, and having physical gold is always a very solid investment. So I don't think that you should sell all of your gold and buy Tom Brady autograph NFTs.
Okay.
Not financial advice, by the way, just my own personal opinion.
I like that. All right. So now let's get into more of the crypto and how to, I know we talked about NFTs. That was the main goal. But a lot of people want to pick your brain about let's start off with where do you go to trade crypto?
So you can trade crypto on a variety of exchanges. Now, if you guys checked out my video yesterday about Coinbase, who is going public on the 14th, next Wednesday, in a direct listing, which is going to be absolutely huge in my opinion. Coinbase is probably one of the most beginner-friendly exchanges. Links directly to your bank account, not very long hold times on your funds. You could trade most of the major cryptocurrencies, and so Coinbase is very good. You also have Kraken, you also have Binance. Those are pretty much the three biggest exchanges for cryptocurrencies.
All right. And as I see a couple of people typing in the room, no. What do cryptocurrencies have to do with VV? What is this segment that we do every Thursday? It's called Trending Thursdays, things that are trending in the market. So cryptocurrencies is one of those things. It is a speculative thing. I totally understand that. I've still got a couple of other stories behind what we're doing here for cryptocurrencies, but I would be remiss if I didn't give this topic some play.
Not only that, but Glenn, remember, there's a lot of crypto adjacent stocks as well. So cryptocurrency is very intermingled at the moment with the stock market. I mean, having things like Block, having Mara, having Riot, SOS, even MicroStrategies and Tesla are hard intermingled with cryptocurrency now, considering things like MicroStrategies and Tesla are putting a lot of their company's money into cryptocurrency. You also have things like Nvidia, right, that is going to go up and down based on the video cards that are being used to mine things like Ethereum and Bitcoin uses CPU mining, but there's a lot of cryptocurrencies that use GPU mining. So a lot of these things are very, very intertwined these days. And with cryptocurrency exploding as fast as it is, those really do move both markets.
And just to answer that question, VectorVest tracks crypto stuff. And as you see on the screen right now, folks, this is crypto-related stocks within the software. So when you ask the question, how VectorVest, what does this have to do with VectorVest? You do remember that we track over 8,600 stocks. Guess what? Some of them are crypto stocks. So I think that it was important to bring this to light. Do we do it every week? No. There's a lot of things that we talk about, but I do not want to hide under anything because any of you feel intimidated, and I'm going to step out there and say it, may feel intimidated by the subject matter. My job is to bring it to you to help you better understand it. And some of you that may feel intimidated about it may get an education on it, have a better understanding of it, and say, wow, this may be something I'd like to invest in. And that's the purpose of doing this. All right. We lost Jason. He'll be back. Jason, can you still hear us? All right. There he is.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, there you are. All right, so
Joey.
I am all about covering everything and anything that's got to do with the market. And when Jason was talking about the adjacent cryptocurrency stocks, here's a lot of them right here. Here's a lot of them right here. And you know something? Out of the 14 stocks that we have in here today, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them are going up. 2 of them are flat, and 4 of them are going down. And the biggest mover is Mara. Why is that important? Because Mara and Riot are the rigs, the machines that mine the cryptocurrency.
Yep.
So I'm of the mindset of it's not just me coming out on this screen and just talking to you. My job is to educate you where I can.
Yeah, and Glenn, I saw a question. Tony asked in chat, how is Bitcoin mined? So to put it into very simple terms is you can set your computer to do math problems. And the faster your computer is at doing math problems, the better chance that you have of finding the key to unlock a block of Bitcoin. And if you're the first one to unlock that block, you get that Bitcoin. So that's a very simplified explanation of it. So you use your computer program, your computer CPU or GPU, graphics card or computer processor to just calculate those math problems. So that's why like you'll have places like Mara that will have, thousands upon thousands of computers running all of these math problems to be the first one to the table to unlock that Bitcoin block. So
and Cody, Robert, no. That's all I'm going to say. I'm looking at your question. No. Heck no.
But you can buy a Tesla with your Bitcoin.
You can buy a Tesla with your Bitcoin. You really can.
Yeah.
But Riot is a Bitcoin miner, David, and so is Mara. That's why I have those two highlighted from that perspective.
Yeah.
All right. A couple, you talked about Coinbase. Oh, so we talked about where to trade.
Indeed.
Someone asked, I'm going to ask you one more question before we go.
Okay.
Crypto tax, any such a thing?
Yes. So you still pay capital gains taxes on crypto like you would on stocks. There is also there's also taxes on crypto to crypto exchanges if you are in the United States. A lot of larger exchanges, you can just pull down all of your transactions and then just take it to a tax specialist. I am not a tax specialist, so I just hand that off to somebody else that I pay handsomely to deal with all of that for me. But yeah, so that is definitely it's taxed the same as everything else.
One more last question.
Okay.
How profitable is cloud mining? Is that got anything to do with anything that we're talking about?
So cloud mining, yeah. So basically cloud mining is you buy a certain amount of, so instead of you having all of the hardware yourself, you can buy spaces like, let's say Mara, you can buy cloud mining from Mara. You can basically rent their hardware to mine for you. Now,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can potentially get good gains off of that. One thing that I've seen a lot of miners do is they will do a blend of cloud and physical mining.
Okay.
So they will have a rig in their house, but they'll also buy X amount of time from a cloud mining. So they'll combine both of those to have like a blend to increase their overall profitability. But at the same time, it's still a game of, are you the first one to unlock that block, right? So it's not a, if I put in X, I get Y. It's, if I put in X, I have a potential to get Y. I might also have a potential to get Z, right? So it's still a little tough. But yeah, and David, to answer your quick question, will the government ever stick their nose into digital crypto and NFT market? They already are. There is currently an SEC lawsuit going on with the company Ripple that is set to make a precedence in the crypto regulation space. Also, a lot of countries are trying to get around the figuring out how to regulate this emerging market.
Man,
Also,
I was
yeah,
sorry about that. I wasn't talking. Dag
I
nabbit.
thought it was my
No, it was
headphones, and I
me.
unmuted
Gosh
it
darn it.
too, and I was like,
That was a
wait,
rookie
did I
mistake.
just not
I
do
feel like
anything?
such a rookie. All right. Hey, Jason, thank you so
Yeah,
much for being here today. I love what you brought to the table. And for those of you out there who also feel the same way, hit the like button. I
yeah,
think that what Jason brought to the table today was a great way to shed light on an industry or a space that's really moving and give some kind of understanding behind why it's moving and looking at these NFTs and what's going on with them and why, are they good? Are they not so good? Could some fraud pop up? A lot of things that maybe many of you had never thought about. And then, and before you go, Jason, I want to show this. Someone asked me, how do you use VectorVest to find these kinds of crypto stocks? All right, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the power of the software. From the stock viewer, I don't want the stock viewer, I want the industry viewer. From the industry viewer, know that we track about 222 industries. Watch this. Sort by industry by clicking on it. All right, it's going to sort them alphabetically from Z to A. Let's do it again from now A to Z. I want to show you, let's go down to banks. No, what was it? Oh, crud. What is it? ETF, financial. Financial, how about this, folks? And this goes back to the same question that came up earlier is, what does VectorVest have to do with cryptos? Right there. Crypto
right
stocks. I can right-click on it, and I can then go watch the stocks in that industry group. Let's see how many we have. Altogether, we've got 10. That's it. There's only 10 that we have in here total. It is what it is. We are not a crypto company just quite yet from that perspective. But someone asked me the top 5 picks. Mannix, how about this? Let's sort this by relative timing. And the 5 fastest would be right here. BBKCF, Mara, HVB, I'm not saying all those letters. There's a lot of freaking letters. I'm not saying all the letters. But if I want to take this list and see which ones were moving the fastest in this space, this is probably what I'm looking for. Mannix, just because you type it more than once doesn't mean I'm going to see it any better. Just putting that out there is telling you that. I got you the first time.
Glenn, point out too that you don't have the ETFs in here. Block and Ledger, probably my 2 personal favorite from the crypto ETF section.
And actually, I've created a watch list specifically for VV Nation here called Crypto ETFs. That's a great way to get into this space with a lot less risk.
Oh, yeah.
I've got 5 ETFs specifically for the cryptocurrency space. And look at this. SI is up 12% today. 12%. Actually, this is not an ETF. It can't be because it's got relative value and relative safety. these four: Block, BLCN, Coin, and Ledger. And Jason said his two best were Block and Ledger in this space, and there they are.
Yeah, so there'll be a spoiler alert, there's probably going to be a video next week for those of you who have hit the like and subscribe button, going over the blockchain ETFs and my breakdown of each one of them. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And I will be covering a lot of the crypto adjacent stocks in the future. So for anybody who's interested in that, that is content that I will be covering from my crypto connoisseur opinion.
Did you say connoisseur or connoisseur?
Connoisseur.
Like a.
I'm a connoisseur of the cryptocurrencies.
Oh, that sounds fancy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Did you say carnosaur? Like I'm a crypto dinosaur?
Well, you could have been. That would have been a carnivore. That would have been a carnivore.
Yes.
All right. With that, now I got a lot of questions about adding more crypto stocks to the software. I've spoke to our person in Ohio. She lets me know that you can't. We can't. And I think it's how we're set up as a company and the amount of money that it would take to actually run those in our software real time. So the answer to your question is what I've got is what I've got at this time. So we'll see what happens from there. So that's an honest answer. But again, Mannix, we just gave you the top 5. I know you just heard that. I did.
Oh no, I think he thinks he wants my top 5 cryptocurrencies.
Is that what it is? Okay.
XRP, XLM, XDC, Algorand, and probably Cardano.
You know what? When you do your video, Jason, you want to point that out. That's another reason why they need, because you said them quickly here. But I think that if they want a better listing, a much more good or better listing, Jason he may or may not talk about it in his video that he's going to put out. Again, Jason is definitely a welcome addition to our stream side of the house, and he's going to bring a lot more information when it comes down to cryptos. And with that, Jason, thank you so much for being a part of my live stream today. And
no problem.
I am going to let you go off and finish doing your day. I've got 2 more stories to talk about here with VV Nation. Again, folks, don't forget to hit the like button. I loved what Jason brought to the table. And again, for everyone who's asking me about some of the stocks that we don't track, I cannot get them added to the software at this time. I cannot get them added to the software at this time. I will work on it, see, and get more information as to really why, but I cannot get them added at this time. All right. So with that, Jason, adios, my friend. See you until the next time. We'll do this again soon.
Absolutely. All right. Take it easy, everyone.
You got it. All right. The question came up is, if we're subscribed, we'll be notified if Jason's video. Yes. What'll happen is, Tony, if you are subscribed to the channel and you hit the bell icon, you will be updated to any video that we put out, any new content we put out. So just put that out there. All right. So thank you, Jason, for being here. We did get some likes out of that. That was awesome. I think he did a really good job to bring to light that whole space, because it was important. All right. So I'm going to finish up for today. I've got 2 other stories to talk about today. Trending Thursday 4/8/21. Let me go to the news real quick. My last 2 stories, I got to talk about crypto. I got to talk about COVID-19. New developments for COVID-19 shot bode well for Pfizer stock. You know that Pfizer is one of the 3 authorized for emergency use by the FDA shots for people getting inoculated. All right, so we got Pfizer, we got Moderna, we got Johnson & Johnson, and there's a couple of other companies really fighting right now to become the 3rd authorized stock. So good information about Pfizer, just to put that out there. Another one, real-world proof Pfizer and Moderna vaccines prevent SARS-CoV-2 infection. So not only do they do 19, they do 2, and I wonder if they go COVID 1 through 19 and can rock all that out the box. Don't know. I'm just making some of that up. But SARS-CoV-2 infection, that's kind of cool that not only can it do through the stocks that we're going through the pandemic for now, and other stuff that's out there as well. It's sort of like Pfizer and Moderna overdid it. So I saw stories that they protect against a lot of things. Once you've got this inoculation, you get protected a lot. And you know something, I think that's one of the things that has protected me over the years from getting a cold or anything, is that when I was in the Marine Corps, I got inoculated against a bunch of stuff. I still think it's floating around in my body. I very rarely catch a cold, any of that kind of stuff. I have not come across COVID-19 at all, even with all of the people in the world around me. I'm lucky, I'm blessed, however you want to look at it. But I still think that it's got something to do with any of us who are military people, with all the inoculations that we've had. I really seriously think so. And I'm not against it, saying that they probably put stuff in my body that I know nothing about to protect me against stuff that was to come in the future. I'm just saying. All right. So wow. In 8 Wisdom says, we currently have a lawsuit filed against a crypto exchange in Canada. And I saw the question after Jason left about crypto information in Canada. I think the next time that he's on, and I'm going to probably make it soon, I think that the next time he's on, I'm going to talk about crypto in Canada. If there's, what he knows about it, and if he can give some insight on crypto in Canada. So I see the question after he left, but the next time he comes on, we'll talk about it. All right, so let's go talk about the coronavirus stocks we always track: Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer. Good news on Pfizer. It's moved up a little bit. It's still the weakest by VST on all of the 3 that we track. Let's go take a look at their graphs real quick. Let's see which ones are moving. Moderna's always been my favorite in this space because it's the only one that's got a relative value above 1, and I think it's undervalued. This has always been my favorite for coronavirus, and it's been a tough stock to sit through. When it was rocking and rolling back early in 2021 and even in 2020, it was rocking and rolling, then it fell, found the level of support sitting at about 120.92. Right now, Moderna's moving sideways, couple of days of indecision. I'm going to take off stochastics. RT is below 1, but right now, Moderna's in a channel. Where are my other stocks? What happened? That's why. Let's do this again. It's your fault. It's still your fault. Right click. Were you humming? It's still your fault. It is your fault. I'm going to fight you. All right, so let's go to the next stock. Johnson & Johnson, same kind of scenario, sitting in a sideways move. And I'm thinking that maybe these stocks have slowed down a little bit. I'm thinking that some of these stocks have slowed down a little bit because more and more people are getting inoculated, and maybe it's not as big a news anymore. You guys think the same thing? That maybe that, they're out, they're in people's arms. It's not anticipation of the shot anymore. The shot's in people's arms, and maybe it's just, and I think with the unfortunate reality, these stocks will be more affected if something super good happens or something super bad happens. All right, so that's what I think. Someone is making big bucks on these vaccines. Sure they are. Do you not think that they're selling? The government put in orders to buy these vaccines from these companies. The money is out there. These companies are making money. Oh, don't get it twisted. We may be getting the shots for free, but they're getting paid. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, David. They're getting paid, and the government bought the shots. They bought the vaccines. All right, and the last one is Pfizer. Pfizer has been the one that's been hurt the most, but maybe it's getting to a point in time because it's out there and people are liking it that it's rocking and rolling. Someone says earnings. Are earnings coming up? Earnings might be coming up. Last earnings was 220. It was 2.2, 2.3, 5.2. I'm thinking right about the early May time period is when earnings will come out on Pfizer. Anybody got any questions on my coronavirus stories today? I only wanted to look at those three because those are the three main ones that everybody's talking about. I know that Novavax is out there. I'm gonna write that down. Novavax is out there. There's a few of them that are out there that are still itching. AstraZeneca is another one. I'll write that down. I heard some bad stories on AstraZeneca again, so we'll see what happens. I wondered that emotional response. News isn't exciting anymore. There will be good earnings within the companies. I think that emotional share price rocket might not happen. We'll see, Kathy. We'll see. And AZN, I'll bring that up, Robert. There's no more story, any more questions on it. I'm going to go to my last story. All right, let's go to my last story, which is about travel stocks. As Americans start, oh Lord, what is this? I hate all this. As Americans start traveling again, airlines revive pilot hiring plans. A lot of pilots got laid off because of COVID-19, and now they're starting to bring them back on because they're going to need pilots to fly these planes. A friend of mine's here. Who is it? Was it David? You said it was David? We were talking about that Atlantic City?
Oh yeah.
So we had one of our product support people just went down to Atlantic City here from North Carolina. He said the plane was full. He said Atlantic City was hopping. So I'm thinking that people, as more shots go in arms, more and more people are getting comfortable traveling again. I think that that's good. All right, do you look at any for the treatment of COVID or dropping if more vaccinated? Do you look at any? You got to ask me that question a little differently, Peter, because I don't understand what you're asking. Or dropping if more. Listen, once most of the people who want to get vaccinated are vaccinated, then who's going to buy more of the vaccine? I think the main buying of the vaccine, they only bought, each company I think got an order for 1 million vaccines. Well, we got 3 companies. There's only 3 million. We got a lot more than that. So the other side of the story is that people not wanting to be vaccinated. That happens too. You can't make nobody get vaccinated. At least I hope that we never get to that point. But that's a conversation for another time. Only one of 8 airlines in the green today, and it's 3.39%. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at an airline. In this case, I think I'm looking at, we'll see which airline. I'm going to look at one airline. Here's Qatar Airlines CEO says COVID vaccines likely to be required for travel. And it says this will be a trend. I'm getting ready in June to go on a church missions trip to Guatemala. I was already planning to get my shots, but I'm going to make sure that before my trip to in June, that I have I don't want to be caught up in the quagmire of, well, you ain't got your shots. And I just released a story last week that the CDC says that if you're vaccinated, you won't be required to have to take a COVID test or be quarantined. All right, so I think that the world is trying to push to the travelers that will be traveling to be vaccinated. Whether you like it or not, I guess is indifferent. I can be, the government's going to be indifferent, but I think it's a way to make sure that everybody is vaccinated because it hopefully will cut down on the spread of the disease. All right. Business travel has not recovered. I agree with that, Bob, but I think the initial spurt of just traveling will be enough to push this industry higher, whether it's planes, whether it's cruise ships, whether it's hotels. I think there's going to be a lot of people wanting to travel. And business travel is not what it used to be. Now, once everybody gets that initial travel out of their system, then travel will go back to where it was pre-pandemic, and then we'll see the fall off. Does that make sense, Bob? That's when we'll see the fall off. But I think there's going to be initial pop because everybody's got cabin fever. All right? And Nole, I'm not getting into that conversation. I am so not getting into that conversation on this platform. All right, so Bob, I honestly think that there will be a push real quick because everybody's going to be wanting to travel. And then after everybody gets that out of the system, travel will go back to where it normally is. And that's when the lack of business travel will be affected. All right. But you can still get COVID even if you get the vaccine. Derek, again, I'm gonna push that to another time. I don't think I want to go over that here. I want to report on what I see. And as that becomes a bigger story, Derek, then I'll bring it to the table. Not ready to bring it to the table yet. Not really. No, I don't think there's enough news behind it to say that X amount of percentage of people who've been vaccinated have it all over again. So I'm not going to talk about that. J&J is selling to a nonprofit. I guess this will change sometime in the future. Will the impact of the stock later better than it is long-term today? I don't know, Birch. They are selling at nonprofit. That's fine. So they're, something, they're going to take a hit. I'm sure they're making up that money somewhere because they're a pharmaceutical company, Birch. Pharmaceuticals make money. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I think that Johnson & Johnson putting it out as a nonprofit, they ain't making nearly as much money. And it is what it is. I'm sure they're making that money up somewhere. Yeah, I know they had the contaminated vaccines, Mary. That affected them adversely. That was a lot of vaccines that got messed up. All right. And let's get into those stocks that I've got. I've got one cruise line, which is Carnival. I've got one airline, which is United. And I've got one hotel, which is Hyatt. All right. So I tried to spread it out amongst that whole industry. Let's go take a look at their stocks. Carnival, how many people out there ready to get back on the boat? Carnival ran up, hit a new 3-month high yesterday and pulled back. Might be some profit taking. But the graph is moving from the bottom left to the top right. A little bit of volatility amongst that, but RT is above 1. I'm thinking about between Carnival and Norwegian, the interest is definitely picking up. All right, look at United Airlines. I did a story on United Airlines, so I've got some markings on my graph that I made as far as notes. I'd like to see if it can take out that 3-month high, which is sitting at $63.70. But the 3 and the 8 on United Airlines is definitely in the positive. RT is above 1. And the last one, Hyatt Hotels. People, when you travel, you got to have a place to stay, right? Hyatt and Marriott and all of those hotels are going to start seeing a pickup in action if people start traveling. My son, his mama called me yesterday and said, he's graduating on March 22nd. She says, not March 22nd, May 22nd. I got to go to Florida. And she said, you need to book your tickets now because they're going to start flying up. And so I made sure, and it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. So I'm just looking at this. Airbnb is another good company, Bob. Absolutely. So I just looked at one airline, one cruise ship, one hotel, and that's all I did today. So anybody got any question? Hi, Glenn. I was wondering if VectorVest will have a booth at the Las Vegas Money Show next month. Answer to that is, as far as I know, no. We've stopped doing that because of our own reasons, but we haven't been at a money show for a couple of 2-3 years or so. Related to travel, surprise RV stocks have not done better. Sales were up last year and demand high. You say RV stocks. Are you saying RV on these stocks? Is that what you're saying? RV relative value is going to stay low because these stocks are so beaten up. It still has to catch up. But RV stocks in general are making money for the most part. But, when we talked about what was going on in the market right now is standing off a little bit. So just keep that in mind. All right. Recreational vehicles. That's another way. Campers and recreational vehicles. That's another way to go. Remember, I only just covered 3 for today. One more question. I'm having trouble being clear with you. Talking recreational vehicles, Thor and others. Oh, well, again, why are they not moving up yet? Not sure. I'm thinking that people want to. I'm not sure how many people want. I don't know. To answer that question, what do people want to do first? I think people want to go to the beach. They want to go to Vegas. They want to go to Atlantic City. They want to go to the mountains. I'm thinking, and they want to take cruises in tropical areas. I think that the RVs will kick out once they get done doing all of that stuff. Then they'll come back and say, okay, let's go take an RV ride. Maybe that's what it is. All right, maybe that's what it is. All right, so how is earnings per share different than on Robinhood? Our earnings per share is forecasted out. So our earnings per share is forecasted 12 months out. What you may see on Robinhood is the actual earnings per share. Having the actual number, and what do you do with that number after you get that number? You say, well, they made $3.50. Now what? If I see that the earnings per share is $3.50, but I look at VectorVest, and VectorVest says that it's $8.83, what we're saying is that at this time next year, the earnings per share should be at $8.83. That tells me that the stock's earnings is growing. So that is the answer to your question, Derek. That's how it differs. Ours is forecasted. All right? All right, with that, you know what time it is. It's time for you to type your stocks in that you want me to take a look at before we go away for the day. There's a couple of stocks that I have that I've been looking at that you guys wanted me to look at already. I wrote them down, NVAX, AZN. Joey, keep them going. LOW, Lowe's. Sensionix, I've done a couple of videos on it. MJNA.
Corn.
Who?
Corn.
Okay. Oh, yep.
SV.
Yep.
F.
Okay.
C.
ETSY. Okay.
DIS.
Oh, crap. ETSY. Disney. That's a good spot. Okay.
BINGO.
BINGO. BINGO. BINGO. And bingo. What's his name?
We'll do one.
PKR. All right. Any stock that we did not get into here for you today, Joey's going to put a link in the chat. We go to www.vectorvest.com/free, where you can get a free stock analysis on any stock you want. I'm going to change my layout more to a swing. Now I've got the 20-day exponential moving average. Clean energy has gotten hit, and I've been trying to scour the internet to find out why. I'm not sure, but a lot of the EVs have gotten smoked. Tesla, NIO, Ride, Li, Xpeng, a lot of them have gotten hit, and I did do a story that Europe or somebody was pulling back on their clean energy cars. So I don't know. So Ride, clean energy, auto, truck, I'm not feeling it right now until at least the stock's price goes above that 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings per share is higher than it was 3 months ago, but pulling back. Earnings growth rate, not nearly as good as it was. Be careful with it. That whole space is tricky bad right now. It's not just bad. I think it's a little tricky bad, and I got to find out what's going on with it. eBank computer peripheral, a little choppy in the move, so a little bit more volatile, currently below the 20-day exponential moving average. I'm not feeling it right now. I'm going to even take off the earnings and earnings growth. Man, I will draw a line in the sand if you're still in it. I got a line in the sand sitting at 442. There's nothing that's telling me it's the right time to be in the stock right now. I don't know if there's any news behind it or anything like that. I'm not ready to touch this stock right now. I've been buying SPY calls, primary wave moves. This current move, the SPY is up 100% from the last PM. And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, John. Whew. Let's go to the next stock. Novavax, I put that in there because this is in that coronavirus space. Currently sitting in a channel between a level of support sitting at 148.95 and a level of resistance at 244. You know, this may not be a bad channel trade. Bouncing off support, getting in, retracing for resistance, getting out, and do that over and over. Long term, though, the stock is below the 20-day exponential moving average. AstraZeneca, that's that other stock that's susceptible to bad news, especially dealing with blood clots as far as coronavirus stocks. I'm not feeling it. It traded above the 20-day exponential moving average, but it's a closed candle, so it pulled down right back to that level, but it's sitting in a channel within a bigger channel. That's a lot of channelization. All right, be careful with AstraZeneca. Lowe's looks good. Building, retail, whether it's Lowe's, whether it's Nails, whether it's Builders, whether it's Home Depot, they all are rocking and rolling. They are all rocking and rolling. Lowe's is a good-looking stock. I like it. As it's moving higher, you know what it looks like? It looks like it's taking off just like a 747 plane. Look at that, taking off beautifully. All right, what's the next one? Sensionix. Again, I did a couple of videos on it as a diabetic sensor that's inserted in your arm. It's been flat, relatively flat. I do have a line in the sand sitting at $2.21. It's still 40 cents higher than that. I'd like to see it break above this level of resistance at 273. I still like the innovation behind it, but that's what it says right here. Wait for the bullish crossover. If I put it back onto trade, and the bullish crossovers look like it's about to happen. Look at that. Look at that. Also would look for RT to be back above 1. All right. MJNA, a stock I help people make a lot of money on back here. I made a lot of money on MJNA back here. I did a story. That's why I've got the bubbles on here. Stock's been sitting at a level of about 5 cents. I need the 3 and the 8 to go bullish on it, and it did, and it went back. Just be careful. There's a lot of other marijuana stocks that are out here. This was an aggressive play a while ago. I'm not ready for it now. I would just leave it be. Wait for the stock to show some movement back to the upside and RT going above 1. Corn. Oh, this is on futures. That's what this is. Bottom left, top right. A lot of sideways move, but currently moving up. I like that. RT is above 1. May not be a bad play. And do I have an upside case 1 year? No. Is it hitting an all-time high? No. I've got a bigger high, but let me give you a profit target sitting at about 1850. That's my most recent level of resistance, and that was over the last 5 years. So I would say, that would be a good profit target if you're in it right now. Next one, CSV, personal funeral services. Man, also in a channel between a level of support sitting at 33.64 and a level of resistance at 36.89, and the 3 and the 8 just crossed bearish today. Let's go back to the swing trade, though, and it's below the 20-day exponential moving average. All right, and it's below the 20-day exponential moving average. All right, next stock that I've got going on, Ford channel. A lot of channeling stocks that you gave me today. All right, interesting that a lot of these stocks are in channels and at or below that value of the 20 exponential moving average, which is, I do like the graph though, bottom left, top right, but still channelizing right now. Watch that. Etsy, same thing, in a channel, but currently above the 20 exponential moving average. I would give you a profit target if you're in it right now at a price of $226.23. All right, it's at $214. That's a great level of resistance. And earnings is rising, earnings growth is rising. If you're in the stock, nice update today, but that would be my profit target sitting at $226.23. Next stock, Disney. As much as I know that the world is opening up, I like the earnings. They're starting to grow their earnings again, which is good. Let the trade come to you, though. Stock's currently below the 20-day exponential moving average. I do have a line in the sand sitting at 183.37. 183.37. Keep that in mind as a way to manage that trade. Next stock, BNGO. Buying on below the 20-day, right at a level of support at 738. It's at 752. That level right there of support has been a really good level. Like to see it bounce off of that, but also go above that 20-day exponential moving average. And I would like to see it go above that level of resistance of 974. And the last stock we have, like that stock as well, also looks like a train leaving the station. Love the bottom left, top right, new high. Earnings is growing. Earnings growth rate is growing. Nicely staying above the 20-day exponential moving average. I like that stock. I like that stock, and I cannot lie. Now it's time for me to go buy. All right, anyway, folks, there's your stocks. If you wanted me to analyze Glenn, when Glenn buys a stock and then sells a covered call on it, it does. He get the,
No.
Does he give the profits to Joey? I don't give no. Answer is no. Why would I do that? For what reason? That doesn't make any sense.
You're not a nice person.
I am a nice person.
What?
You trying to? Oh, I'm not a nice person.
You don't
Oh,
give me your
really?
profits. You don't give me your profits.
Do you give me yours?
I don't make any.
Yeah, you do. Don't lie. Don't even lie. All right, folks. I'd like to say thank you for being here. And again, if you haven't already hit the like button for Jason, who was here today. Yeah, he did a great job today. Absolutely great job. And it won't be the last time he comes here. All right. We covered a lot today. Hey, Glenn, do you have a minute to look at Viacom? I'm not going to pull up. No. If I do that for you, Victor, then everybody else who was putting up stocks, I got to put up their stocks too. That's the only way that would be fair. All right, that was the only way that it would be fair. So I'm just putting that out there that way. That's all. All right. Thank you guys for being here. How many likes did we get today?
42.
And I want to make sure if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you like the content that you see here, subscribe to the channel. Help our channel grow. Hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted to any new videos that are out there. I didn't say the like button. I said the like button, as in, hey, Glenn, I like you. MOUSE. I just showed my age. All right, so with that, thank you guys for being here. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my people in Hawaii. Salam, shalom, namaste. This video is over. Till the next time, see ya.